Hello, welcome to episode 2 in the Map DevLog series. Things haven't really changed that much. I have been doing stuff. I promise. Let's have a little look at what we've been doing. Well, first thing, we now have a new map. So we've got a map of London. I thought, well, I'm probably going to want to go to London. We might want to do New York and stuff. You may notice there's rather a lot of locations. Now, obviously, in the game, we're not going to have this many. It's just, one, they were helpful to plan out where the roads were. And two, I thought, well, we might use them in sequels or something like that. And I don't even know which ones I want to use for this game. So I thought I'd just put a load on there and we can decide. So we wanted something like train stations. We've got Paddington, King's Cross. Maybe we can do a little bit of Harry Potter Easter egg. We've got the abandoned underground station of Aldwych just there as well. If we want to do something with churches, we've got Westminster Abbey, Westminster Cathedral, St Paul's Cathedral. We've got Temple Church for Templars. If we want something to do with Egypt, Cleopatra's Needle here. We've got Highgate Cemetery there. We've got a couple of palaces, Buckingham Palace, Kensington Palace. What else have we got? That's where the office is going to be. If anyone knows London, that's Regent's Park. Do you know what that is? That is Baker Street. Yeah. Our office is going to be in 22A Baker Street. Yeah, maybe we live next door to Sherlock Holmes. Battersea Power Station. So a load of different places. We've got some museums as well. Science Museum, Natural History Museum, the British Museum, the Imperial War Museum. We've got some boats, the Golden Hind, HMS Belfast. We've got some docks, because I want a warehouse. So we've got a warehouse down there, St Catherine's Docks. So the ones I think I'm going to be using at the beginning is we're going to have the office. And it's like, oh no, something's been stolen from the museum. So that's probably going to be the British Museum, because they've got like the Rosetta Stone. They've got the Assyrian statues from Nimrod. They've got a statue of Ramesses II, so they've got a nice Egypt link in there. Maybe you go there. Maybe you see something that says, oh, well, it's been taken to the warehouse. The warehouse is on the docks, so we might go over to the docks as well. So that's 3 we're probably going to use. I've added crawling. Okay, so we can crawl now. I won't talk much about crawling because episode 115 in the Datapack tutorial series is how to make that crawling. So we added that in. What else have I got? Oh, this little green mark here. I now have teleport to lobby. So when a player joins, they will be teleported exactly to this square facing exactly that direction. So when I do have a lobby, I can now just change that. So I know where any new player is going to arrive. Oh, I added the animated text menus. These are based on the text menus from episode 389 on the command block series. They're all right. I like the effect. I like the way it works. It's just the hitbox here is very small, as you can see. So if it was just like a 1, 2, 3 characters, this would be fine. But for this long message, I'm not too happy with it. But I like the way it looks. So we've added that as well. These guys were used to be running on triggers. So if the player typed in trigger, they would see trigger NPC response. Since this isn't going to be running on a server, or if it is, people can just opt themselves because they're playing a map anyway. It's not going to be a case of you're going to have one admin and lots of other players. I've removed the trigger. So now these run direct commands, so the player doesn't have access to the trigger. They can give themselves a journal. They can toggle hotspot particles, and we've got set player. Now, it is single player, but sometimes it's nice if you have a friend coming along with you. So I've just set up some sort of watcher system. Everyone gets tagged as watcher. And if they type trigger, they don't have access to these. They only have access to teleport. And that teleports them straight to the player. But let's say you're halfway through the map and a new friend comes to join. Then what you can do as the player yourself, you can run set player, and that will define yourself as the player and every other player as a watcher. So watchers can't interact with things like computers and CCTV cameras, so they can't jump in the way and break stuff. They aren't checked. It's like, has the player got this item in their hand? It doesn't check the watchers, so they're ignored. And I'm going to probably just keep adding that to everything. That way you can have a friend, join you to go through the map. And there's no collision with watchers either, so they can't push you off the edge of stuff, just in case they're thinking about being naughty. So we got the map, we've got the crawling, we've done some more stuff to the NPCs as well. I forgot how to change my view. So NPCs, we've got some normal ones here. Here's the 3 that we were using in our tutorial on NPC dialogue. And you'll notice that Noodle here is doing his standard. He's got green name, grey text. I've added a component to the text so I can now change the colours. So maybe we've got an evil person, they reveal themselves as evil, and now we can change their colour. Or any other reason you might want to change their colour. I just thought it would be something nice to add. Questions. Now, as it was before, so Julahu, are you busy? Would you like a quest? I would now have to press T. I would say yes, then I would have to press escape, and then I'd have to continue the conversation, which I thought was a bit annoying, so I've added it now, so you can do the whole lot through T. I can say yes, and then I can click on this. I can advance the conversation by clicking. I don't actually have to come out of the chat window now, which is much nicer. So that's good. I think that's a nice quality of life change, that one. That was pretty cool. What else did we have? Oh, yeah. So we've done path following. We had that before. So I've done path looping now. So, Bob, go off on your path and we'll set you. So all that's doing is adding a tag to him. He's now got the tag path loop. And when he gets to the end, it's basically just saying, well, if you got the tag, just go around the loop again. Off he goes. Let's take that off. We've got pause. So he can pause. He'll stop. And if I want, I just... off he goes again. Start him again. So that's quite a nice one. Should I want to pause him halfway through? Or maybe he's leading the player somewhere and you don't want him to get too far away. Maybe he's leading the player through a maze, for instance. So I've also got the player waiting. So if we start him on his journey and we give him player waiting, it's currently set up for a 6 block range. I might make that adjustable. So he's just going to stand there until I get within 6 blocks and then he'll start going again. So he's always going to wait. He's not going to get too far away from me. There we go. So if I turn that off, he'll... whoop. Is that my range? Wait. Off he goes. There we go. And I think one of the main things I added also was multiple pathing. So now we can have as many NPCs as we want pathing, instead of just one at a time, which I thought, I don't want that. So now we can have a bit of life, maybe. I'm following Bob through the maze. Here comes Noodle. I don't know, what is he, just an NPC wandering around for no reason? I've added that too. Okay, so those are most of the things I wanted to add, and I think it was the pathing on these guys and getting them to wait and stuff, getting them to pause, and the crawling. Definitely wanted crawling because it's not a mechanic you use in normal Minecraft. So I really like the idea of having things sort of, hidden. Maybe there's a couple of boxes in the way. And players aren't used to it. They'll just see that and they'll just go, I can't go in there. And they're not used to sort of thinking, hang on, I can actually crawl through that gap. So crawling was something I definitely wanted to get added. Oh my god, let's not break any more of that. That's too loud. So I'm happy with the crawling. I'm happy we got an extra map. This took longest to make. I was staring at a map of London and just going, oh god, this is good enough. And then once I had it finished and done, I went over to test the map and it replaced it with the world map and I hadn't saved it. So I had to build this twice, which was fun. Okay, so what's next? Next, I think I've got the idea that I want to go, from my office in Baker Street there. I'm going to go off to one of the museums. I don't know which museum. As I said, probably British Museum. So, and then warehouse. So maybe I've got 3 locations. We get an email when we're in the office. That leads us to the British Museum. In the British Museum, we find a clue of some sort that leads us to the warehouse where the artifact has been taken. And then who knows where we go after that. Then I had a look at what sort of artifacts. Maybe it's like, what do we want? The Spear of Destiny, the Antikythera device, the Ark of the Covenant, who knows? That sort of thing. So my question is to myself, how do I want to lay this out? I thought about having it all in loaded spawn chunks, and maybe I have like a platform here, this is my office, and then just here, this is the British Museum, and then just over here is the warehouse. Now that's great for testing, because I can just do reset, because everything's loaded, just reset the whole lot. Very nice. But if I do that, I don't want the player standing here, sort of in the museum or in the warehouse, and just looking over there and going, what are all those other places? So I'd have to build walls around everything. I'm kind of tempted by that. Each place is in its own separate area, and there's just a big white or black wall around it. It makes it very obvious to the player where they can explore or what's worth exploring. And my other choice I'm sort of thinking of is, do I just have an open world? Do I just have a massive open world and we just put some sort of very obvious barrier, maybe a very low white wall, and it's kind of like, well, don't bother crossing the white wall. You can if you want to, go past the white wall, but there's nothing out there. But then I've got the problem that everything's going to be far away. I mean, if we're sort of coming from London and we're going off to Egypt, I don't want my office being here in London and Egypt being in a desert just one block away, because people are like, well, I won't bother using the map. I'll just walk to Egypt. There we go. I've walked to Egypt. I'm really not sure which to go with. I'm sort of leaning toward having everything as its own little platform, and it's just got high black walls around it. So it's very obvious for the player what they can explore. It's sort of like, well, you can't go past the black walls, so you don't have to go off looking for ages. Let me know what you think. Let me know your ideas. So that's my main bit I'm stuck on. For testing, though, I think the next things I'm going to do is I'm going to build a little office here. I'm going to build a little museum, and I'm going to build a warehouse. I'm not actually going to build the buildings. I'm just going to have a little platform for each. And we're going to sort of set up, hey, I've got my email, and how do you get notified that you've got an email? Maybe I don't tell them. Maybe they just have to search until they turn the computer on and find it. And then I want to maybe looking around in the museum. What do we want to do there? I think I need to get building stuff now. I think we've got enough systems that I can build. And then hopefully that will make the story unfold within my brain. I shall be heavily plagiarizing any sort of stories I see along these lines. So anything like Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, we've got the Temple of Doom, or the Raiders of the Lost Ark, or those TV series. I think of TVs like Warehouse 13 or The Librarians. Any things like that which are about mystical artifacts, I might well look up a few plot lines or something and just go, yep, that sounds good, I'll yoink that for my map. So that's where we are. I'm in a much better place now. I've got a few more things, and we're ready to actually start sort of building some stuff, testing out how it's going to work. Cool. Well, if you've got any ideas, please do let me know, because they're all very helpful. And I'll see you soon. Hopefully this video is a bit louder. I had a problem with my episode 115. I don't know what YouTube did to it. It was very quiet. I apologise for that. I've done some settings fiddling. I can't go too high, or it all distorts and goes weird. So hopefully this is a bit better, this one. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Have a great day. And I'll see you soon.